Welcome to the Hybrid Soul with KellyKinkaid. Today, my guest represents this county that's like representing so loud in R&B music. You got Raheem Devon, Alex Vaughn, and today my guest representing really hard singer, songwriter, artist Reggie Becton.
What's
What's
happening?
trapping, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love what's happening.
Okay.
Like my favorite thing. I'm glad you picked up on that.
I did. And you know what else I picked up on? You say, I'm not signed, but I'm major. You know,
Yeah,
you're putting out some
okay.
major music right now, and we're loving it.
Thank you.
Coming from PG County, what was the plan after moving to LA to do your music?
I think the plan was like I had just graduated college. So the plan was kind of like sink or swim, really. It was like, all right, now or never. I felt like I was at a crossroad in my life to really decide like how I'm just gonna take music seriously, or I was just gonna like get a 9 to 5 job and work that. And I made the move to LA and ended up doing both. I got a 9 to 5 job, but I also worked 24/7 on my music. When I wasn't at work, I was always doing something for music. So that was just kind of like the plan. I didn't know how I would make it. I had like $800 in an air mattress, and we just figured it out. And I'm so thankful that I took that risk and I took that leap of faith because God, He looked out in the long run.
You're so good. So before moving to LA, when was it that you knew that you wanted to pursue music full time?
I feel like I always knew it just was something that like I was kind of afraid of, so I didn't want to like really push or advocate for myself for. But singing was always like one of my favorite pastimes. Like I can't remember a time I like as long as I remember talking, I remember singing in a way, and that kind of just grew into other areas like songwriting, like performing. It just kind of grew. This dream or this vision just kind of grew, and finally around like 17 or 18, I was like, yeah, I just want to really try to make a name for myself and try to really have a music career. So I started to do things like songwrite more and like do some open mics and things like that. And by the time I moved to LA, it was like all frequencies going forward and all hands on deck to like make this dream happen.
When I listen to your music, I hear a lot of influences musically. Growing up, who are some of the people that you listen to?
Yeah, growing up for me, I listened to a lot of Avant. I know Avant was a big, staple in my childhood. I listened to a lot of like Trinity 5-7. My mom was a big gospel fan. She loved the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So that album is a staple. India Ari was played heavily. My sister was a big fan of like Brandy and Destiny's Child. So I was getting that. A lot of Usher is there for my development. And then my dad, he would listen to like soul music, so like Marvin Gaye and
Yeah.
Tina and Ike Turner. Like I remember having Proud Mary on like a cassette tape and just like always begging my dad to like rewind it and let's listen to it again. So like those are some of the things that I can remember as a kid that really kind of like plagued my sonic identity.
I look at you today, I see this orange beanie on, and what you had a project called My
Glory.
Beanie's Orange. Was Marvin Gaye and was that inspired by him? How did that project come about?
Yeah, I started wearing this orange beanie very early in my career just to kind of like set myself apart and give people like a something to identify me by, and
Mhm.
with Mari Gay being from like Washington D.C., it also was like an homage to him. So that was always cool that I got to like celebrate him as much as like him being from the same area and having like a similar legacy or career that I hope to like be able to reach those benchmark and reach those standards. So yeah, that was heavily an inspiration of like why I started to wear the orange beanie, and it just kind of grew from there.
Mhm. As an artist that is fairly new, how important is it to you to know your history? Because I know you said Avant, but you did go to Marvin Gaye. But are you still a student of the game and music when you're putting your projects together?
Yeah, very much so. Like, before I start any project, I really like to like create a playlist and like listen to things that like are inspiring to me. Like Stevie Wonder, I'm always listening to the Stevie Wonder album. Like to me, like his songwriting, melodically, he's just one of the best. Prince is also a big inspiration of mine. And you know, like my producers, we all like different things. So every now
Mhm.
and then they'll send me something. So like my producers been getting me like to listen to Herbie Hancock and things like that. So just like I'm very much a student of the game. Like part of my development was going back into like artists I love discographies and like listening to every album. So like Brandy or Prince, those are some people that like I listened to almost every album they had and really like studied it
Right.
and really like, you know, like try to figure out why I love these projects, you know, like, and what is it about these artists that I want to take from and be inspired by and, you know, like do certain things. And that's why it's cool to see it show up in my music so like effortlessly.
You got a new project coming out on May 5th.
Yes,
You got
yes,
to do an extra tequila shot for Cinco de Mayo called Sad Boy.
yes.
Writing and putting this project together, um, who was an artist that you discovered, an artist from the past, a legend, while putting this project together?
That is a good question. Let me think. Um, I would say it wasn't an artist that I discovered, but I think on this project, a lot of like Marvin influence shows up.
Mhm.
I think that like I'm singing in a key that's like falsetto on a lot of the songs, which is something that I don't typically do or haven't done in the past. And even like I feel like a lot of more of the songs are have a more sensual feel to it. So that made me even want to like, you know, do some Marvin isms even more. So like I think Marvin is a big inspiration for this project because like even like some of the hooks I always just wrote them to kind of be a bit more like hooky, but also have that 80s soul rock vibe. So that's been cool.
Right. As a songwriter, I have to say a friend of the show is Alex Vaughn. And you know, you put your foot in it with So Be It, being a co-writer. And I told her this when we had a conversation on the show. I said, Alex, my favorite song is Demon Time. Like,
Yes.
how was it? And you know, she spoke of you. Collaborating and writing, uh, I'm curious to find out, like, did you start off being a songwriter, and how has that part of you evolved up till now?
Yeah. Shout out to Alex. I was just with her this weekend. You know, we had some fun. She's back from tour, so we was in LA, at a
Oh,
party and some fun. So that was great. And yeah, like I'm glad you like all those songs because we worked really hard on those songs. And Alex is such like a she's just such an easy collaborator because she knows exactly what she wants, but she's also willing to try all those things, and she's also comfortable talking about her feelings, which makes it easy to write songs for her, you know? So
yeah,
songwriting has always been a goal of mine. And to me, like growing up when you saw like Neo and Carrie Hilson, all of them like take their chance and be like top artists when they did break, it made you know that like, all right, I need to be able to write my songs. You know, like I need to be able to sing my songs. I need to be able to perform. Like those was all things I was thinking about as a kid as I was trying to develop into this like superstar, you know, trying to get myself my own boot camps. And songwriting was something I picked up around like middle school and I just did it because I thought like I honestly did it because I got tired of like singing other people's songs, you know. And so I was like, I need to write my own song so I can have more fun trying to perform and stuff. So I
right.
just started writing songs. I really like studied the craft of song structure and just studied like a lot of songs that were coming out during that time. And I like just wrote songs in similar vein and like really tried to build that muscle up to where I think now when I first moved to LA, I was definitely trying to go down that songwriting path. And I think what I found troubling or like the biggest hurdle I found during that time was just like been getting my time respected as a songwriter, like, you know, coming to sessions and you don't really have a name for yourself. Like, so you're just trying to like build with people and you're like trying to get that respect of like your time and like your time not being wasted. And I think sometimes when you're there for artists, like, you know, they want to smoke, they want to have conversation, they have a lot of distractions going on, which makes it hard to do your job as a songwriter. So I took a break from it and I really started to focus on my artistry and my craft. And then now when songwriters, when it has a sense of like that part of my career has come back and like spent the block, now it's like a different, very much different, like I guess view of things. Like I get invited to sessions that I want to take. I get respected at those sessions. Like people know who I am. And also I think like even when people put me in sessions, it's more intentional with the artist they put me in. Like I haven't had any problems with artists having distractions lately. So it's been a fun time.
That's a blessing. What kept you focused and not discouraged to stick to you and make people really respect your worth and value?
Yeah, I think I would be lying if I said I didn't get discouraged. Like I got discouraged every day. I think what it was like one, my relationship with God, like being able to talk to God every day and, just try to have someone to like lean on and really, support you in a sense and to try to tell you to keep going and that everything gonna be all right and just have faith. I think that taught me a lot, but I also think that like just not being afraid of making your own table. And I think when I moved here, like also being 1,000 miles away from home and not being able to run home when something got bad, I think that also like made me hit the ground and made me work harder at the things I was doing and to try to like believe in myself. So I think that combination of like just being away from home really struck a chord in me and made me like hustle even more.
That's beautiful. Let's get to May 5th, Sad Boy releases. What was the fun part about this project, putting it together?
Yeah, this project I always tell people this was like the most fun I had making a project.
Uh-huh.
Part of it was, and it's weird because I called it Sad Boy, which is probably like I think I'm going through sad times. But I
Right.
think part of it was like Sad Boy was just like this reflection. It was like me like going back to revisiting some of these experiences that I had, and they could be good or bad, but it was like, all right, let's write about them in a way, that makes me happy. I think I was in a good place creatively, and I was surrounded by great people like Aiden Curl, who executive produced a project with Ja, and shout out Ariana and all the producers who helped me. I was in a good place with a lot of like great creative energy. And I think everything just happened like super organically. Like it wasn't no super like concentrated effort. And I think that some of the songs I got to record on tour, some of the songs I recorded while here. So it was just a great space to be in. And I like didn't like, I think I was ready to talk more. I feel like I had matured. I was like going through some situations and like having some new experiences in love and dealing with some new people in my life that kind of also was bringing joy to me in a sense. That like made some of these songs easier to write. So I think all those things kind of together made this a fun project to record.
Let's talk about this single Life, because you said you experienced different things. When I
Right.
listen to these lyrics of life, I need you to break it down. Is it an autobiographical thing? Is it inspired? How did life come about?
Yeah, I think life, like lyrically, is just inspired about like experiencing a feeling, whether that's like it's very intimate, or whether it's just like love at first sight, or whether just like you hung out with somebody, hung out with a girl, and you just like really enjoy being with her. Time it's like the feeling of emotion that like you wanna have again, you wanna feel again, but you can't seem to get it again. You can't seem to have it with that person because it's like a one night thing, the one off. And I think that's what makes the song so special because it's just like this lightning in a bottle feeling. It's lightning in a
Right.
bottle chance and love that make you wish that it would change your life. So like that song was super cool to write. And it was probably the last song we did for the project. So I'm super excited about how like it's been received. Like people tell me they listen to it every day. So that makes me happy because it's one of my favorites.
Did you dodge the question I said was it autobiographical? I don't feel like you answered that. I feel like you
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was. It was autobiographical for sure. Like
okay.
that was
Okay.
definitely that was definitely the mood
Nice.
I was in when I wrote it.
Um, I want to talk about the visuals for life, that the video is available now. I love it. Please
Thank
give
you.
us the story, because you posted a little bit about how you created this video, which is amazing. It shows off a little bit of your dance skills.
Yeah, no. Life was a great video to make. We made it really fast. We had planned like a bigger shoot, or we were like planning a bigger shoot for it. And I had a chance to go to India to work on some things with some college students. And so I went to India for 10 days. So it made us move the video shoot up a week. And we kind of was like, all right, we just need a great location. We had already knew that we was going to do some choreography in it. So I had practiced like the month before, like maybe twice a week. So shout out to Sherry, who's my choreographer. And we really were inspired by like 90s R&B and early 2000s, like Aaliyah and Usher was a big inspiration. We just wanted something smooth and that kind of spoke for itself, but kind of still got into the pocket of the song. So that was like a trying time trying to like really choreograph this thing and make it what it was. And I almost like didn't do the video. I was gonna have like a friend do it, but at the last minute he was double booked. So I was like, all right, this maybe is just God telling me to do it. And we have been trying to get like a visual that kind of showed my like dancing and things
Yeah.
like that sooner. And we did shoot something and it just didn't turn out right. So we left that in the archives. So when this one was coming out, I'm like telling everybody, like, hey, like we tried this once. I'm not afraid to not have a video come out, and waste some money. And my director, Chris, who I directs all my videos, he found this great location and was like, hey, I think we should shoot here. And we pulled up and we just got it done in 2 hours. And then I went straight to the airport to hop on the plane to go to India. So it's one of the things that happened really fast. Even like the video itself, like we didn't have a speaker for playback. So we were like listening to the MacBook and like the laptop computer in this big open area where you can barely hear. And we just like counting the steps, trying our best to like be on time. So it was a trying process, but we got it done and I like the way it turned out. I'm happy that.
I do too. I do too. Everyone, you got to check out this live video that is supporting his new album, Sad Boy. Uh, I want to a couple of things. When I feel like you're growing up before our eyes. You started off with even just with your hair.
Yes.
It's been short. You have a lot of hair now. You wear your hair in cornrows.
Yes.
The beanie we talked about. How important is it for you when you started and now being in control of what we see and what we hear from you?
Yeah, I think that's super important. I think that like you mentioned, like everything, like I feel like I've been finding myself through music and just through these years of like creating and maturing. Like this is probably the first time I wore the beanie all this year, to in 2019, it was you would never see me with it out. So I think that part of it is just like me becoming more comfortable. I used to think that like the beanie like gave me something to have in my own, like my hair. Like it was something that I got to keep to myself and like nobody really saw. And I think like just me growing, it's like I feel more comfortable to share different things and different aspects of my life. So there's definitely a maturation there. And I think even with Sad Boy, some of that is uncovered on that project where like some of the topics, some of the feelings, some of the emotions that there are maybe emotions that I strayed away from in the past because I wasn't comfortable yet sharing that side of me or figuring out how I wanted to share that side of me with people. So it's all been this like development. And I think that I'm happy that I've been taking it slow and allowing myself to grow and like not being running away from that and not trying to stay the same. For me, I always want each project to be and feel a bit different. I never want my fans to just get used to one thing. So I'm kind of glad that you can look back and go through my past releases and they all have a different feeling. They all have a different like feel they all have a different phase of my life, which is cool to, document in a way, year to year.
Yeah. Speaking of your fans, you just did this a concert series. How was that for
Oh my
you?
God, that was great. I never thought I would sell out a show in LA this early in my career. So that was amazing to see. And it's cool to see how LA has really become like a second home to me, like and then coming down to DC and like packing that room out and like seeing the growth in that, and seeing so many like my family and old friends all
Yeah.
be there to like support me and know the words to my song. I think the home tour was the first time people actually like sung the words back to multiple songs and it like felt like a Reggie Becton show. So that was
Oh.
cool to see and cool to experience. And like, the home tours is always special because they're always self-funded and they're always shows that we put on. So every year we take a risk to do these shows, and it was cool to see that the risk is paying off, and that sometimes you just have to bet on yourself to really create the life you wish for yourself.
Yeah. What can we expect from this project? What are we going to hear on May 5th in the totality of it?
I feel like you're gonna hear a lot of emotions. There're gonna be a lot of feelings. Like I think that I hope everyone approaches the project with like wanting to get like this redefining of sadness because that's what I'm hoping to do. It's not just a bunch of sad songs, not just a collection of sad songs. They're happy feeling songs, they're sad songs, they're loving songs, they're caring songs. But it's more so about like a sadness that comes from all these emotions. Like sometimes you can be so happy at about something that it makes you sad. And I think that a lot of times we run away from our certain emotions and we pass judgment on them instead of just embracing them and being allowing ourselves to feel them. And like with sadness, that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to create a project that like gave you those songs or those things, but also, redefined it and showed you that like it appears in all our lives and we should be open to how that appearance is had.
Yeah. With Sad Boy, the music releasing, you have a docu-series coming out. There is a big plan for this project. Let's talk about the docu-series.
Um, we created a short film for like an audio visual series to match the music. And part of that was because like while I was creating this project, I was really inspired by like Marvel and comics and just like different cinematic universes like Kill Bill and Quentin Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs. Like I was just watching a lot of film and I'm a big film head. Like that was part of what I studied in college. And I wanted to create music that kind of almost felt like a soundtrack to a movie. And I wanted to create music that like automatically made you feel like something. So after the music was done, I wanted to create visuals that kind of paired with these songs that also felt like the songs that like welcomed you into the world, that showed you like as a fan, as a listener, how to experience these songs, like when these songs should be played, just so like it can hit you and tug on your heart even more and really like appeal to that like I want to say it's pathos maybe or ethos, one of those things,
Mhm.
but like really appeal to that nature. So like with the short film, it stars a character, Sad Boy, who I play in it, and like going back to like how we did the dance thing, like we always wanted to keep with this project, we just wanted to keep maturing and showing people different sides of who I am as an artist and performer. So I'm so happy that I got to act for a couple of scenes in this, and we had a whole cast, so it's a lot of my friends, individual some other artists are there. So I hope it'll be some familiar faces. So it'll be a cool little visual for each song and we'll release it episodically for 7 weeks. So I'm super excited about it. The first 3 episodes are practically done. So it's coming along great.
That's beautiful. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Temple University in Philadelphia.
Okay. Okay. How did coming from PG County and being in just the mass of the Philly sound of Philly, how did that add to your musical taste?
I think like Philly, like I tell people all the time, like I found my sound in Philly because I think Philly was just like a melting pot of all genres, especially great for R&B and like neo soul and hip hop. I
Yeah.
think the music people are making in Philly is just like always light years ahead, and they're doing it in like such a clever and like soulful way that it really hits home that you really can like tell the difference. Like there's real instrumentation. It's just deep feeling things out there that
Mhm.
allow me to like really just get in touch with like excuse me, get in touch with like being vulnerable and making music from the heart and things like that.
I love it. Hey Trace. When so you got a chance to act in your Sad Boy docu series. Is the acting something that you want to do to add?
Um, I think it's something I want to do. Like I would love to be in a Marvel film. Like
Mhm.
that's my biggest dream. Maybe play an X-Men or something one of these days soon.
Yeah.
Um, but when I shot the short film, it's a lot heavier commitment than just a music video.
Right.
No, we was on set for 12 plus hours every day for like 2 weeks, starting sun up to sundown. Um, and because I also like, it was also like my baby as far as like creating this and developing this plot. So like there was like double duty going on. But yeah, it was a nice eye-opening experience to what it takes to be an actor. And I
Yeah.
respect actors so much after experiencing this small glimpse of what it is to be. So like hopefully I get some film offers, but it's not nothing I'm like seeking right now.
Right. For this new project, Sad Boy, are there any guest vocals on this project?
Yeah, there's some guest vocals. It features Nana, who's a great rapper from LA.
Yeah.
Call, we all heard Call in the summer single, which is one of my favorite.
Yes.
It's almost at 5 million streams already, so I'm excited about that one. And then my vocal coach Bova, she sings some backgrounds over the project. I'm super excited for the world to hear her voice because she's such an amazing singer. She helped me write Streets, and she appears on another track with some vocals. And it's the first time I kind of like, well, maybe the second time I don't use female background vocals often, but I love when I get the chance to do because I think it just makes all my music more colorful. And the way our verses blend on the song Self Control, and that's my favorite song on the project.
Okay.
Um, it's just great. So I'm excited for everyone to hear that.
I'm curious because you started your music career in a time when social media was starting to pop off, and it's even more popular and important when you release projects and you do stuff day by day.
Right.
Being in this millennial age and in that age group, um, are you with it? Is it forced or do you not like it?
For me, it's like I'm with it. Like I like social media. I think for me, it's always been important to like music always being first. So be above everything. I always wanted to put my music in the forefront. And I just think that's and I think that's why I've been able to build such a strong presence like through music and not necessarily through social media, which is cool to see. Like I think that like there's definitely a vantage point to social media, but I more so use it as a vehicle, like to just express my branding and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm very like cognizant of not becoming like a character, and not saying that like that's what happens, but like I don't want to be on TikTok, like trying to act or creating funny videos. Not that that's something wrong. I respect all those who do it, and I think it's great when people have found their voice and things like that on TikTok. But for me, I just haven't found that voice and that presence just yet. But like things like Instagram and Twitter, I love because I'm able to like Twitter, I'm able to just express like my daily thoughts and my opinion on different things. And on Instagram, it's like a great vehicle just to share like my music, branding, different photos, different artistic things that I'm going through or that I want to express myself in. So I think social media is great. It allows us to connect directly with our fans. And I think it's opened the floodgates for artists like myself who's not signed, who's independent, who's just making music, trying to follow, his inspiration. It made it so that I can have a viable career in this industry without someone telling me what to do or without someone giving me that backing that or being a gatekeeper to the space that I'm trying to get into.
Right. I want to say it again because I love it. You say I may not be signed, but I'm major.
Yeah, yeah.
Being an independent, what what does that mean for you? And as far as just staying indie, is that something that you want to stay with, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I think for me the plan is to, that's something I'm like still working out. I'm not against signing to a major label,
Hmm.
but also I'm starting to realize the true power of independence. Like I'm starting to see different things where I'm like, oh, independence is really where it's at, like so I think that like a partnership, of course, is goal, but I think that like being able to make your music on your time and being able to release the when you want to release it and release how you want to release it and release the content you want to release to support your vision, that's priceless. And I think that once you enter that major system, that a lot of those things get stripped away from you. So I think it's important to hold on those things as possible. I want anywhere I go to respect me and prioritize what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm very like patient in whatever deal that comes my way. And I like being able to like I take great pride in like being able to put up some of the same numbers and same stats as people signed to that major label and they're backed by that machine. And it's like, like I'm the little guy in there making some noise with half the resources. So it's fun to see. And it just tells me that like if I can do this much with this little, then imagine what I can do when I get those things. So it's just like, it's part of the development, I say.
Right. You've traveled the world and performed on stages all over the world. You've gotten millions of hits listening to your music and touch fans. What has been your most goosebump moment? Like, wow.
Honestly, I think my most goosebumps moment this far as like the home tour and seeing people sing some of the songs that I really didn't expect people to know and like singing in unison, like that for sure was a goosebumps moment. To me, like having a song with Tank is another one where like that's one of my biggest inspirations. And then also like being able to work with Rodney Jerkins, the producer of like my favorite R&B album, Full Moon of all time, being able to go to Florida and meet with him and like work right under his wing and actually write song like So Be It and Do You Ever. And it actually comes out. It's like, like to me, it's very early on in my career and to have already that checkbox. It's like all right, like, like I can leave the game happy at this point. Like I work with Dark Child, I work with Rodney Jerkins, so like
Yeah.
what was that like super goosebumps moment for me. And every day I'm also still surprised to see that like people actually care to listen to my music. I know it's like something that I prayed for a long time and that I worked hard at, and to now have it, fruition, it's really no, I'm always in a constant place of gratitude when I think about it. So I just stay grateful.
That's beautiful. Can you share any words of wisdom Rodney Darkchild Jenkins gave you while you were working with him?
Yeah, he really just, he really was more so like just a mentor in the sense of like embrace what you have to give. Don't run from it. Like do you, because no one can do you better. And also like don't, like follow your inspiration. Don't think anything is too like corny or too cool. Like allow yourself to express yourself freely, because that's where you'll find, the magic at. And I think one of the greatest things he taught me there was also like talk it out. Always talk out the song. Like every great song starts from a great conversation, and make sure as a songwriter and as an artist, when you're approaching your songs, you're having those conversations. And that's something I do now when at the start of every studio session, like trying to have a conversation with the artist to discuss what we're going to write, because that's how you make it more dear to the person and hit home more.
Right, right. Reggie, I want to say thank you for giving us My Beanie's Orange. Thank you
No
for
problem.
listening. Praises in California. Can you please give all your fans who are listening right now just how you're feeling? Because we're counting down the days for Sad Boy and why we need to support you here and beyond.
Oh, what's happening, everybody? Sad Boy is coming out on May 5th, and I hope everybody listening. It's a project I worked really hard on, and I think it's like my best project yet. The songs are super relatable, and I just think they're all catchy and they're all just such a different vibe that I think it'll be something on that project for everyone. And hopefully it helps you get through some emotional complexity that you're going through. And hopefully you love it enough to come to a tour when that happens.
That's what's up. The Hybrid Soul is always, I always say, the Hybrid Soul is the destination for R&B discovery. And I'm so glad that we discovered you here. We
Thank you
support you.
so
We love you. We're looking forward to this new
much.
project.
Thank you.
And yes, this has been a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. I'm looking forward to bigger things for you. Keep on inspiring those artists who really believe in their project and just making beautiful music. Today, my guest is Reggie Becton on the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid. Thank you.